Okay. Jared, you're up first, so you have your 2-minute opening.
Thank you so much for putting this on, first of all. I'm very happy to be here tonight and talk to the people of Pine City, the surrounding area, about the things that are happening here in our county. A little bit about myself. I'm Jared Rosati. I'm 45 years old. I am currently the Chief of Police for the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe. I have 24 officers in my command right now. I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in Criminal Justice from St. Cloud State University. I attended Hibbing Technical College for my skills portion of my police training. I've worked as a city police officer, a sheriff's deputy, a conservation officer, and as I said, I'm currently the Chief of Police of the Mille Lacs Band. One of the things that I really did when I took over as Chief of Police of the Mille Lacs Band is I immersed myself into that community, and I made my officers do the same thing. My slogan for this campaign, the cornerstone of what I've been talking about to people in the community, is community changes everything. Without that communication between the community, you cannot run an effective sheriff's department or a sheriff's office or any police agency. That's why at the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe, I've attended and set up forums just like this for our community to come into. It amazed me out talking to people, sitting at city council meetings, township meetings. They haven't seen a deputy or representation from the sheriff's department in 4 to 8 years. Some of these organizations haven't seen a person from the sheriff's office. That's amazing. One of the first things I did was hold forums just like this. If you don't know what the community's concerns are, how are you ever supposed to effectively bring public safety? That's a little bit about myself. I'll turn it over to Mr. Nelson as my time is up.
Thank you, Jared. And thank you for everyone showing up tonight. When I started running for sheriff, one of the first things I emphasized was that people be informed in their vote. That holds true now, and that's why I appreciate seeing everyone here, getting information firsthand, whether it be from the sheriff's race or the other races that were discussed tonight. I think it's extremely important that people know who they vote for and what they stand for. I want to put myself out there to run for sheriff because I appreciate what the county hired me 22 years ago. They have supported me and my family. It's allowed me to raise my family in the county, and it's my way to give back to the county and continue to serve the county. I'm extremely focused on service. All elected officials should be service-minded. If we're not serving the community, we're not doing our job. Thank you.
Thank you. The question we sent in advance to the two candidates goes to you first, Jeff. That question is, what strategies or activities would you suggest to facilitate a healthy community? What strategies or activities would you suggest to facilitate a healthy community?
Well, the word healthy opens up a huge opportunity to come up with different ideas. My first thought was, as everyone knows, there's a sheriff's show on Thursday mornings. And so my first thought of healthy was maybe I should lead a calisthenics program and get everyone working out in the morning. Then I decided it probably wasn't what the answer was looking for. But what it comes down to me is the relationship. A healthy community has to have the relationship between the community members individually, between the people that service the community, again, whether it be at the sheriff's office level or any other county or state level, federal level for that matter. We need to have relationships in place before problems come up. We need to have those relationships working and effective before they're needed and called on. As sheriff, I will work with the various boards, whether it be the county board, the city councils, EMS, fire groups, victim advocates. All of those groups need to have relationships with the sheriff's office before. Obviously, everyone here has heard that both of the other candidate groups were asked about their relationship with the sheriff's office. To me, that's good that there's a focus on the relationship, but it's extremely disappointing that our sheriff's office is the focus of other people's groups based on relationships or lack thereof. If we don't have healthy relationships, we're failing the citizens of the county. If you look at what healthcare decides is healthy, their focus is on prevention. In the sheriff's office, we also need to focus on prevention, and that's crime prevention. To make our community healthy, we need to ensure that our citizens are safe. If we are not protecting our citizens, we are not being healthy. The sheriff's office needs to reach out to those people and support them and bring them in to our relationship so that we have that formed again before there's issues. Thank you.
Jared, what strategies or activities would you suggest to facilitate a healthy community?
When I took over as chief of police, I was basically put into this situation. We didn't have a very healthy community. We didn't have a very healthy relationship with the community as a police department. Like I stated before, what it starts with is communication. We had to get back out and talk to the people to see what was going on in our community, to see what they saw as the ills or the problems in our community. And I think Pine County needs that same thing. Traveling around the county campaigning, talking to people at the various events, and door to door, one of the biggest problems I've heard is people don't know our deputies anymore. We don't know who is at the sheriff's office. That's our fault as a law enforcement agency. Our job is to get out and know the community. I had a young deputy stop me in Hinckley, this was probably 3 or 4 months ago, and say, where's John Daggett? Who's John Daggett? And I thought, how long have you worked town? And he said, 3 months. John Daggett owns Daggett Super Value. It's been there for 3 decades. Get out of your car and talk to people. Right now we have a large majority of our officers who are very young, who don't live in our community. It's hard to be a community police officer when you don't live here. You don't know the people. We need to change that. As a sheriff, that's one of my top priorities. We need to start bringing in people here who actually have a vested interest in our community, who want to be part of our community, who want to raise their kids here, who want to shop here, who want to be neighbors with you. That's where it all starts. That communication key has to be there. In order to trust the officers that are working in your community, you have to know them. And I've proven this can work at the Mille Lacs Band. Our police department's now 180. Our officers are highly trusted now because they do go to community forums. They do stop and talk. I started a stop and talk program. It's pretty simple. If you don't have calls for service pending on your screen and you see a backyard barbecue going on or a campfire, you need to stop and talk to these people. Introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Officer Rosati. I'm working in the community tonight, and there's any problems in the neighborhood. What's going on? What do you do for a living? I mean, these are simple things we can do to bring the sheriff's office and the community back together. My slogan of community changes everything basically points that out. So those are the strategies and the way I would attack this issue. Thank you.
Hold on to the mic, Jared, because you're up first with this next one. This is the first question for the audience, from the audience. And it is, how do you plan to create a better working system than what is currently in place? How do you plan to create a better working system than what is currently in place?
Right now in the sheriff's office, and it's been this way for several years, there's no case management system at the Pine County Sheriff's Department. There's nobody that really oversees the cases that come in the door. And the county attorney's kind of touched on this earlier. At my department, we have a strict case management. We have one lieutenant of investigations who's in charge of overseeing every case that comes through that door. We also have technology, which we need here in Pine County. We run the LETG system, which basically links all of our cases together. At my desk or in my squad, I can look at the progress of any case that's going on. That includes statements, reports from the officers, pictures of evidence, where things are. I'm currently working with the Pine County Attorney's Office right now to install LATG for them so our officers can have a better working relationship with the Pine County Attorney. We have this with the other county attorneys that we service, but not in Pine County. We're working hard on that and hopefully have it up here in a couple of weeks. These are things that need to happen here in Pine County. If you're ever going to be a productive, proactive law enforcement agency here in Pine, it needs to happen. We need to move out of the dark ages of how things have been done for the previous 2 decades and start moving forward. It's been proven it can be done, and it can be done better here in Pine County.
Okay, Jeff, how do you plan to create a better working system than what is currently in place?
Well, as everyone's heard earlier, there is communication issues. I think it does start with communication. We need to be within the sheriff's office communicating with each other, communicating with other officers, communicating with other agencies, communicating with the county attorney's office. If we don't have that open, honest communication, we don't have that trust relationship like I talked about earlier, we're going to fail. We need to be open and honest in our discussion with the county attorney's office. We need to be able to provide them with a winnable, provable case. And if we don't have that conversation going on beforehand, we don't have those opportunities to talk and support each other, we're going to fail. As Jared talked about, internally, case management is a huge issue. Firsthand, I can see that from the caseload that comes to my desk as an investigator. There is a lack of tracking on what follow-up is being done that needs to be improved on. I have been in touch with and talking to an individual that works out of Duluth who uses our current records management system. When Jared talks about LATG, it's good and fine, it's probably a great system, but the funds are not there to switch over to that right now. To get that incorporated into the sheriff's office would be a huge investment. I would encourage that we look at heading towards a different program, but I understand the reality of the budget is that it's not allowable. I've been talking to the individual out of Duluth who has created within our current records management system case management. It would be a fairly simple process for him to incorporate that into what we are currently working with and not have the extra expense of totally switching programs. That would allow for us to do the same thing, that we can follow up on cases, we can see who has done reports, who hasn't done reports, and have that information available instantly every day when the supervisors come on. Right now we have 3 sergeants within our 3 districts. To my knowledge, there's one of them that is actively looking at what cases are being followed up on and encouraging the officers to finish the casework or to recommend that it gets passed on to an investigator. I would like to add staff in the management position too, but again, with the budget, it's hard to get that instantly. I think we can work with the current sergeants' positions and our records management system and get that done. Thank you.